Hi everybody, I'm Caryn Hartglass, and you're listening to It's All About Food. We're coming to the end of 2024. I'm recording this on the morning of December 24th, 2024. We've had a nice light dusting of snow this morning, but it'll probably burn off later in the day. I always like seeing a light snowstorm covering everything up, making everything look fresh, clean, quiet. It doesn't last, but it's a nice moment. And in this moment, I'm thinking about food, of course. What am I going to have today to tempt my palate, to nourish my body? And at the same time, I'm feeling so many different things. I feel pulled in so many different directions. I don't know if I'm tapped into the universal consciousness, but this is a time when a lot of people are reflecting on many things more than the rest of the year. We hear about a lot of depression, and at the same time, people are celebrating and partying and finding joy in different ways, either making cookies or planning parties or buying gifts or getting gifts. And then there are those who either don't have those opportunities or for one reason or another don't feel a part, and the whole time of it feels very alienating. I can't say that I have answers, but I'm always working on how I can feel the most joy, how I can experience the best things life has to offer, while still acknowledging all the difficulties that I face in my personal life, my family, my friends, the city, the country, the world, all life on earth. There's only so much we can take in. And as I've been mentioning recently, what I've been doing, I can only speak from my own point of view. I'm juggling or shuffling the priorities, focusing on the things that I think will make the most of my day and help me in my journey. And so some of those things are a daily meditation. And, sometimes meditation is hard. I like to allot myself 20 minutes, and sometimes I can't do 20 minutes. Sometimes I pop out of it raring to go at 10 minutes, and that's okay. Move on to the next thing. But I think it's important to do the things that matter to you. And if it's just a few minutes, good, you've done that. You can move on. And then there's exercise. And in my own personal journey, trying to clear my body of this mysterious plaque I seem to have collected over my lifetime. And to do that, not only do I eat a whole food plant diet, a vegan diet, but now for the last almost 5 months, 6 months, since the end of July, August, September, October, November, December, it's been 5 months. I have been not eating salt, oil, or sugar. And while I really miss the social aspect of eating out, I do love eating this way. It feels right. And I think there was something in me all along that wanted to do this. So I'm glad I finally got the kick in the butt to go on this journey. And that kick in the butt is different for everyone. What is it that's going to make you do what your higher self knows is best, that you really want to do? What is it that you need to get to that point? It's different for everyone. And in this moment, for me, I am now committed. I have now added to my everyday activities this 1 hour plus of power walking or running. And I'm lucky because my partner Gary has been doing this for a long time, and now we do it together. It's an interesting time to spend with him while getting the work done, the workout done. But I know that I need more than this. And there's only so much time in the day, and we all have so many different things that we believe need to be done. So I'm trying carefully to work into my morning routine more of the stretching, more of the weight-bearing exercise. Maybe not as long, but 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Can I do a half hour? All of that is important and good. And as we're moving out of 2024 and into 2025, many people think about what they want to do for the year. And there are those resolutions. And I think most of us know that resolutions that are made at the new year are rarely kept for very long. But if there are things that have been nagging you about what you want to do, now is a good time to reflect and think about how you're going to get that done. Do you want to go completely vegan? Do you want to eat more fiber? Do you want to eat less salt? Do you want to eat less sugar? Maybe you want to eat more salt and sugar. I don't know. But this is the time when our culture reflects on the things we've done and the accomplishments we've made and where we want to go next. And in this journey I've been taking, this SOS-free journey, I've lost 12 pounds. And I wasn't expecting the weight loss. I didn't think that I needed to lose 12 pounds. But now I realize I did. And I'm really enjoying being lighter. A lot of people think about weight, and we have a variety of different approaches in our culture. We're not supposed to weight shame. A lot of people struggle with obesity. This country has more and more people that are carrying more weight than is healthy for them, and it's also affecting children. And we know that when we carry excess weight, we increase our risk of chronic diseases. And carrying excess weight is hard. It's inflammatory. It increases our aches and pains and how we feel. And I want to encourage people to feel the best they can, be the best that they can. And in my own personal journey of trying to reduce my cholesterol and LDL and remove plaque from my body, I got this extra benefit. But what I also know is that when we carry extra weight, and it could just be a couple of pounds, we can collect plaque in our bodies. It's different for every individual. I know many people that are either at their ideal weight or maybe they weigh more and they don't have a cholesterol problem. So we are all individuals. But I do believe that eating a whole food plant diet with little or no salt, oil, and sugar is the healthiest way to eat. And no matter how your body responds to that, you're only going to benefit. And I'm not saying this is easy to do because everything in our culture goes against eating this way. So let's say you're listening and you're saying, oh, Caryn, yeah, you could do it. You're disciplined, but my lifestyle just doesn't accommodate that. There's no way I can fit this into my life. I have no support. Whatever it is, I want to mention an upcoming program that might be helpful, and it's free. So I interviewed Ella Majors back in October of this year. She calls herself Sexy Fit Vegan. But behind the name, she has a mission to transform the health and wellness industry from the inside out. That's what her bio says. And she's been vegan for quite some time, since 1995. What I really liked about her bio, her platform, her mission is she wants to make compassion sexy. And she works with eating and fitness. And she has a coaching program that's coming up in January. And I believe the first part of the program is free, which you can participate in. I will be talking a little bit more about it in the weeks to come. But in the program, you'll learn about cravings and why it's not just willpower that helps us conquer our cravings. And I know a lot of people could use skills right now, especially those going into celebratory events, festivals over the holidays. Because when there's all these tempting foods in front of you and everybody's in a relaxed, festive mood, it's so easy to just say, oh, I'm just today, I'm just going to let it all go and enjoy myself. And that's fine. And we don't want to stress and have guilt around food. I know with myself, I work these things out with myself and I incorporate different ideas and strategies, and it works for me. And I share them here on this podcast, but what I do may not work for everybody. In fact, I think what I do will not work for most people because of the culture we're in. There's just so many competing forces. I've been fortunate. I came out of the womb not really caring what other people thought. To some degree, I care. But I do what I want to do without much care about if people think it's popular, if it's right. I figure things out in my head that are right for me, and that's what I do. But that's not an easy thing to do. I get that. We are a culture that is so affected by what's going on around us, what our family thinks, what our colleagues think, what our neighbors think. So developing skills to support what's really important to you and to have the tools to get yourself in alignment with your values, I think it can create the momentum. It can create a ripple effect, if you will, of the compassion that you have for yourself, for your family, for the animals, for the planet, and have it spread to the rest of the world. That's why it's important to me to share and to talk about doing what's important in your life, in your journey, to be a better person, to feel better, to feel healthier, to feel more fit. And we're all individuals, like I said. Getting to that place is different for everyone. I will be sharing more about Ella Majors and her coaching program next week and in the weeks to come. I believe it starts on January 13th. There will be a registration starting very soon, and the doors will close and the challenge will begin on January 13th. So more on that next week and the week after. And maybe that'll be really helpful for you. I hope so. I've been hearing from a lot of my vegan peeps, and many of them know other vegans who have high cholesterol like me and have either made the choice to take a statin or made the choice to do nothing or made the choice to do SOS-free. And those who have done SOS-free, I have not done any official studies. I don't know exactly how people adhere to this SOS-free lifestyle. But some have success and some don't. I personally believe that it's not just the food, although that's a critical part, removing salt, oil, and sugar from your lifestyle, but the exercise is also a critical component. And flax seeds. As I mentioned before, I'm taking 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds a day. Flax seeds are really powerful. They have tremendous positive impact on cancers, especially breast and prostate. And I heard recently that there was a study that showed that 3 tablespoons of flax seeds were really beneficial for men to reduce risk of prostate cancer and prostate problems. So Gary just added an extra tablespoon to his morning bowl or his salad during the day to get 3 tablespoons. That's a lot of flax seeds. And chia seeds are just as good. So to make sure we have enough, I buy a big bag of flax seeds, like 8 pounds. Keep them in the freezer. They'll stay fresh forever at a cool, dry temperature. They don't have to go in the freezer, but I like to keep them in the freezer. I buy them from foodtolive.com. I've talked about this place before. I really like this company. I believe they're located in Brooklyn, so if you live in the metro area, they deliver really fast. The prices are not good if you're only buying small amounts. The prices get better with more volume. So I usually get about 8 or 10 pounds of the things that we buy. And since we're going through flaxseed so quickly, buying in bulk is a good idea. Just a reminder, you may have heard this before. I know I've said it before. I know I say it to myself before going to an event. When you know you're going to a party where there's going to be temptations, plan in advance. I can't say enough about how powerful this is. Number 1, if there's going to be food there that you don't want to eat, or if you don't think there's going to be food there that you want to eat, you need to eat ahead of time so that you're not starving, so that you don't have you don't let your guard come down and make bad decisions. Eat before you go to the event. And then the other thing is drinking. I made a choice, along with my partner Gary, 2 years ago, to not drink alcohol. It wasn't that difficult for me. I haven't had a problem with alcohol in my life, fortunately. Many people do. And alcohol can be very tempting, especially during the holidays. If people feel socially awkward in different situations, having a glass of wine, a glass of beer or 2 or 3 can really help bring those feelings down, diminish them so that you feel more outgoing, you feel more sociable. I get it. But alcohol has debilitating effects. Of course, you don't want to get into a car after drinking, especially in the wintry holidays. But it's not good for us. And there's more science that's showing that alcohol is not good for the body. For a long time, we were getting all of these articles that said, oh yeah, a glass of wine a day, or this and that is good. It's not. But there are more and more nice, fun alternatives. More restaurants are coming up with fun cocktails that are alcohol-free, but are combined with celebratory, festive ingredients, unique flavors, or maybe ingredients that are expensive. So that having a cocktail with some of these ingredients that you don't consume on a regular basis makes it special. And that's what holidays should be about. Doing things that are special. Doing things that are for the moment. Something that you can look forward to in the future or reflect upon that happened in the past. Special moments. We live in a world where so many things are available to us at a moment's notice, and costs have been brought down on many expensive items. Now, I know we have inflation, and I know the cost of groceries are up, and it's very challenging. But overall, we have access to many, many, many more things than ever before from all over the world, and the costs are less expensive. So what's special anymore? What's special about life? What's special to consume? So in my world where I'm not drinking alcohol, what is considered a treat? And one thing we've discovered, I'm laughing. You may laugh like, oh, Caryn, really? Organic cherry juice. Organic cherry juice is delicious. And we've been serving it occasionally with our dinner in a wine glass. And it looks like a red wine. And it has many of the features, many of the notes, the flavor profiles of red wines. Okay, not everything, I know. But it does have a rich, smooth flavor with notes of cherry because it's made from cherries. And sometimes we'll have sparkling water and we'll splash it with the cherry juice or pomegranate juice. Trader Joe's also has a number of different bottled organic juices, and one of them is the Power of Purple. And it has a number of different healthy ingredients in it, and I find this a really fun drink to have, either diluted in sparkling water or as a celebratory drink for a toast. And let's talk about juice for a moment. I know there are the juice naysayers. It's best to consume whole fruits like apples and oranges and grapes. And it's much better to consume those things whole than to consume them as juice. Apple juice is not as good as eating an apple. Orange juice is not as good as eating an orange. Grape juice is not as good as eating grapes. But there are some times, especially with cherry juice or pomegranate juice, where they're not as sweet. You get a lot of benefit from the juice, and the flavor is just incredible. And as a treat, it's perfectly fine. While we're on the subject of juice, just throwing this out here to remind you, I love green juice. Green juice is a great thing if you're in need of energy or if you're in a health crisis. It's an excellent way to get nutrition into your body quickly. Green juice is made with dark leafy green vegetables like kale and collards and other dark leafy greens. You can add other lettuces to it, romaine, if you like, and add celery to it. I like to smooth out the flavor with some fresh ginger and lemon, but I avoid adding fruits to my juice. If you find it's not palatable, you could add an apple to it or a beet to it or carrots to it, but we don't want the juice to be mostly these sweet things. That kind of subtracts from the value of it. And with smoothies, the same thing. A nice dessert treat is a banana with berries, but a blended salad is an excellent way to get your greens if you find that you're not feeling up for a salad or don't have the time for a salad. And blending it with whole fruits, berries, maybe an apple, those things like that will help it to be more palatable, but also all those foods in the smoothie have fiber in them, and that helps with digestion, but also keeps it healthy and helps the body manage the sugars that are in the food. We need sugar. We thrive on sugar. But it needs to be sugar that comes with fiber. It needs to be the sugars that come in whole foods, not refined sugars. Continuing on this season, this celebratory, festive season, it's a season of giving, and it's a season of getting together. Many people travel far and wide, starting with Thanksgiving and then the winter holidays, traveling to be with family. And then many people are alone. I think, too, since the COVID pandemic, many more people are isolated, more isolated, have kind of adapted a new social life or lack of social life, avoiding social situations, avoiding creating social situations like parties and gatherings. There's a lot of articles about this nowadays, and it's detrimental to our society. Humans are meant to be in community. There's a lot of science now that talks about how humans have evolved because of cooperation, not the survival of the fittest. No, we have evolved and survived throughout the centuries, throughout thousands of years, from cooperating with each other and being in community. And we have a culture now that is polarizing us. We have an incoming federal government here in the United States. The Republican Party focuses on creating enemies, focuses on taking sides, focuses on pitting people against their neighbors. This is very dangerous. The incoming government, the incoming president, is a convicted felon, and he is collecting people to work with him in his party that also have questionable backgrounds. The Matt Gaetz report just came out, and we've learned that many of the suspicions that have been spoken about with him have been confirmed in the ethics report that came out by the House Ethics Committee. What kind of weird sci-fi movie are we involved with to have this corrupt individual become Attorney General? Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, but who is going to be recommended for that position and all the other positions? the backgrounds of many of the people the incoming president has recommended are suspect. It's scary times. Rule of law is like in the toilet. All of us are being pitted against each other. There are people that believe in community and coming together and experiencing joy and helping our neighbors and working together with our tax programs in order to support the global good, support our infrastructure, our roads and our bridges, and people in need, and helping lift people out of poverty and giving people education that's affordable and respecting people for who they are and what they want to be and how they want to present themselves in society, and giving them all the opportunities that every person should have on this planet, and not to discriminate. And then there's the other party that doesn't want to do any of that, that wants to support the people that have, reduce taxes on those who have a lot. And it's really bizarre because many people who could benefit from programs that would be helpful to them have voted for a party that wants to get rid of them all. And a lot of this is because mainstream media, Fox News, and many other conservative media outlets have been brainwashing and manipulating and presenting sensational stories and reinforcing lies over and over. And a lot of people believe them now. Okay, why am I bringing all this up again? I think about it because it's scary, and that's intentional. These media outlets and many politicians and many wealthy people in power want people to be afraid. This isn't a good thing. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? Because I want to bring it back to community. This is where community comes in. We cannot be polarized. We cannot separate ourselves from our neighbors. I like to say we all breathe the same air. We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. We all eat food that's grown in the same soil. We live on the same planet, planet Earth. It is our home. We all share it together. We should all want the best for all of us, because what impacts our neighbor impacts us. We are the same. So when we support an incoming administration that wants to eliminate regulations to protect our air, to protect our water, to protect our soils, this affects everyone in a bad way. Community is essential. So here we are during the holiday season. Many people may not want to get out and celebrate, may not want to be with family because they know there are some family members that don't agree with them politically. This is a time where we need to be getting together with people face to face. Zoom has been a great thing, got us through the pandemic, and I use it all the time, especially connecting with people I care about that don't live nearby. But face to face with people, breaking bread. This show is all about food, and it really helps to share food with other people. I've always said the most important form of vegan activism for me is putting healthy, delicious foods in people's mouths and realizing that they can enjoy eating this way. But it's more powerful than that. Being with people, sharing food together, sharing an enjoyable moment together. It's so important for our longevity and the future of humanity if we want humans to continue on this planet. When we're together in community, we can find things that we agree on. We can find things that we enjoy together. We can find things that we can work on together. And we can step lightly into these difficult conversations where we know other people may disagree with us. And perhaps as we're building trust by sharing things that we enjoy together, we can get into more difficult conversations. We can get into more difficult conversations about why it's important to support governmental programs that repair our roads and our bridges and our infrastructure. We can talk about why it's important to keep Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, because some of us need it. And maybe if you don't need it, there are others, many people that do. People with disabilities, people that are aging and don't have the ability to work. So many reasons. We are a society, and we need to support each other as a society. And we are a global society. And when there are people from other countries that are desperate, sometimes they need our help. And we can work on programs to be able to help people that come to our country for help. And we can create programs to help people within our country and those that are coming into our country. And part of it simply is taxing the very, very rich. And they are doing whatever they can right now to keep that from happening. But if we're all going to live together in a way that is best for everyone, this needs to happen. We need to bring balance back. And I'm talking about it because I think a lot of it can be done through community events and community events with food. When we have events in our home or at some sort of community center or in a restaurant, over food and over even alcoholic beverages, get people's guard down, get them relaxed a little bit. We can have more difficult conversations. And while this is supposed to be a joyous time, a happy time, a celebratory time, we can have these difficult conversations because there's no other time. The time is now. Remember, corporations today, and even some small businesses, need us as consumers. Remember, you are a citizen of this planet, not a consumer of this planet. Always consider yourself a citizen, a participant, working with society to make it a better place. Now, we need to consume things, absolutely. We can't get away without eating food, I know that. And these are the holidays. People like giving gifts and getting gifts. I've spent the last few months cleaning out my mother's house. We put her in a nursing home not too long ago. She's 91. She has a mild form of Alzheimer's. It's difficult. Cleaning out her house was difficult. So much stuff. So much stuff that was not essential to living and living well. But that's how we live. We buy little items and little things to give to people, and in the moment it's sweet, it's nice. But then, what is the domino effect? For me, I get a lot of stress when I'm around clutter. Now, some people may find clutter, some people find stuff, having things, very comforting. It really depends on who we are. But personally, I think if we are going to give gifts, the best gifts to me are gifts that include an experience. So that could be giving some sort of food item, either a sweet treat or something related to food that can be used, that can be consumed in a way that is lovely in the moment and then gets recycled back into the universe somehow. Another type of experience that can be gifted is an event, tickets to a concert, theater, maybe a coaching for someone that's interested in a particular hobby or wants to get involved in a new skill, gifting lessons, piano lessons, or a subscription, a membership to a gym. Something that can be useful that you know the people you're gifting would appreciate. Or maybe gift certificates to restaurants. So many restaurants are struggling since the pandemic. It is so difficult. And a gift certificate can give restaurants needed cash to get them through the slow period of the winter. January, February is typically slower for hospitality types of businesses. I'm drinking some matcha tea right now. And I've talked about matcha before. I love my teas. And I love having all of the accessories that go with making my tea experience more sensory and more satisfying and more fun. A friend of mine gifted me a matcha kit several years ago. He had had it for quite some time. Somebody had given it to him. It was sitting around in the house. He didn't use it, and he thought maybe I would like it. So it was a regift, and it wasn't for any occasion. It was just, I have this. I think Caryn would like it. I'm going to send it to her. And I love it. It came with the matcha cup, the matcha tray, the bamboo matcha whisk, and a little matcha tea. Now, that tea, it was sealed, and it may not have been the freshest because it had been sitting around, but I never had matcha before, and I totally got into it. And now I'm not a matcha freak, but I really enjoy my matcha. So maybe there's something like that. For me, I don't want you to send me a gift, but the things that I enjoy are bulk organic teas. And I like the white teas, I like the green teas, I like some caffeine-free teas. I remember when the Organic Grill restaurant was open, it unfortunately closed recently. But the owner, Vlad, is delightful, wonderful, giving person. I was talking to him about how wonderful his teas were, and he gave me the names of the companies that he used, and he gave me a small bag to take home of one of these pumpkin spice organic black teas. It is so yummy. And this is a special gift that I treasured and I still treasure. I'm thinking of artisan products like Sweet Vegan chocolates. They're handmade in New York City by Andrea Young's company. We featured her a number of times on It's All About Food. There are a number of vegan chocolate companies. There are vegan pastries, vegan treats. They're expensive, but they make a really lovely treat. They're not sugar, oil, and salt-free. I know that. But for people that want something special, unique, this is something people can enjoy in the moment and think of you, and then it doesn't collect in the dust. And you can always make your own and put them in a nice box and give them to other people. I've been working on clearing out the vegan butter and sugar that we have in the house, and chocolate chips and white chocolate chips. I don't know if you remember, but I spoke with Simon Lester earlier in the year about Pasha, his chocolate company, and about the chocolate business in general. And when he told me that the price of chocolate was going to go up considerably, I bought lots and lots of bags of his organic semi-sweet chocolate chips and white chocolate chips, thinking that I would use them over time. I would keep them in a cold, dry place. They wouldn't get bad. And then I decided to go salt, oil, sugar-free, so I haven't been using them. I've been making cookies, chocolate chip cookies. Everybody loves them, and I don't eat them. I think it's a win. Or maybe you gift a cooking class, or maybe you give a cooking class as a gift. Say you'll go to someone's home and give a cooking class or make dinner for people. It's endless what we can do when it comes to giving gifts, and creating community at the same time. I just want to air a grievance while we're in Festivus, the airing of our grievances period. And I recently read an article about robot chefs. We live in an industrial world. We live in a tech world, and technology is becoming more and more ubiquitous, more and more complicated, more and more prevalent. And many companies find that a large investment in automated equipment will save them in the long run by reducing jobs, not having to pay people to do the work that a robot, that a machine can do. And I don't want to sound like an old fogey saying, oh, things used to be better in the old days, and they're just getting worse and worse. Technology has helped tremendously in many ways. But I personally think we need to be mindful, and we're not, when it comes to automation. Do we really need more of everything made cheaply? I am trying to focus in my own life in living with less and buying more quality items when I need them so that they will last a long time, rather than having lots of new, cheap things. And when it comes to food, I do not encourage people consuming what's considered fast food, industrialized food, food that has ingredients in them that really aren't food. They have ingredients that are detrimental to our health. Food that came from nature that has been highly manipulated, highly processed, and loaded with salt, oil, and sugar. And now, corporations are looking to eliminate the few people they have left working for them, putting foods together by using robots. Is it a good thing that people feel they are so overwhelmed and so busy with things that they have decided they have to do, that they don't have time to prepare healthy meals for themselves and their families, and they cannot afford high-end restaurants that might, not necessarily, but might make healthier options? There are some restaurants that can make healthier options with fresh food, and you can customize as you need. But instead, going to fast food outlets, either picking something up and bringing it home, or bringing your family, or picking something up and eating it in the car on the way to somewhere else. This is not a healthy lifestyle. I have always encouraged people to find their kitchens and find a way to prioritize, not making necessarily gourmet meals all the time, but finding ways one day a week to organize, prepare for the week so that you have the food you need ready to go to put together simple meals and avoid the need for industrialized, unhealthy food. This is my wish for everyone. But it's hard in this society that makes convenience more important than health, than more important than community. Because when you can order something online and get it instantly, or you can go and pick up something and get it instantly, there's less interaction with other people. And that's what we need more than anything right now. Interaction with our neighbors, with our friends, with our family, with our colleagues in a pleasant atmosphere, in a nice environment where we can share our joys and discuss our concerns and be real humans. Bring out the good side of humanity. And so when I read an article about robot chefs, I naturally have a knee-jerk reaction saying, no, this is not the way we want to go. For me, food preparation is art. Food preparation is a way that we express our creativity and share it with those we care about. And art is so fundamentally important to humanity. Art elevates us. Art makes us better as humans. Art helps us express ourselves and share our stories. And if we're having a robot create our food with no imagination and no sense of creativity in the moment, what is that making us? How are we being nourished? And what happens to us when there's nothing for people to do, when there are no jobs for people to work at, when there are less and less opportunities for people to feel pride in their work. People used to feel pride in creating clothing, for example. A suit custom made is very expensive nowadays, and we have all of these clothes ready to wear that are manufactured in massive quantities by many people who work in factories and have these very tedious, difficult jobs, and they're paid very little. Do we really need all of that? I would love to see us. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forwards. I want to use technology where it's beneficial, but also appreciate quality items, quality products that take time to make, that are unique and expensive, but long-lasting, so that people can once again have pride in their work and feel like they're contributing to society. Hey, I can dream, can't I? And we can dream together. And we can share these ideas together. And we can mull on these ideas together. And we can meditate on these ideas together. And we can upload these ideas to the universal consciousness. And slowly, we can make these things happen. But we have to visualize them and find ways to make some of these things happen in our own lives. I wanted to add on the subject of clearing out someone's home or purging your own home and getting rid of things that you don't use anymore. It's very easy to just put them in the garbage and let them go to the landfill. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. It takes thought to find ways to reintroduce the things that you don't want into society and give them to someone who can make some use of them. And I did this when I was cleaning out my mother's house, and it took a long time. It took months, but I didn't just want to call up a company and pay them to take away all these things, to empty out the house and get it ready to sell. I couldn't do that. And over time, I gave away almost everything. Now, there are thrift stores that will take things, and there are numerous websites now where you can list things, and it's great if you can get someone who's going to pay you for your treasures, for the things that you can't use anymore. But that's hard to do. And I utilized the free section on Craigslist and gave away a lot of furniture. And people came and picked things up, things that I normally would have had to have paid a big truck to come and take away. And these people were so happy to get these items. Many people, for one reason or another, have challenges in their life. And they need different kinds of furniture. And the furniture that you no longer use can be a wonderful item in their home. And then some people like to collect some of the really old stuff and refinish it and make it into something beautiful. They're out there, and I applaud them. And I was able to gift so many items to people that really appreciated them. It feels good to do that. Another thing was flower shops. I had all of these vases, and I didn't want to just take them to recycling and recycle the glass. And I washed them. They were perfectly new. They looked new. And I brought them to the local floral shop, and they were so happy to receive them. They could reuse them, but it takes time. It takes effort. But frankly, I think it's worth it. And a wonderful gift for yourself is gratitude. And I'm thinking right now, I have numerous friends, unfortunately, right now that are experiencing health challenges. Some of them are young, and some of them are getting on in years, and it's a very difficult time for them. And there are people all over the world that are struggling. There are people all over the world that are celebrating and having wonderful lives in this moment. There's everything, but it's important to constantly gift to ourselves, to nourish ourselves spiritually by thinking about what we are grateful for. And this is the season we really should be thinking about goodwill. It's something we should think about all the time, right? But we're reminded during this holiday season about goodwill to all. And that includes ourselves. So I encourage you to think about the things you are grateful for. And also think about the people in need. Now, there are people that help at soup kitchens, which is a wonderful thing. But maybe that's not your bag. Maybe you don't like dealing with strangers. There are plenty of people we know in our own lives that need help. I know that it's very easy for us in difficult situations when we're with someone who is failing in health to say, let me know if you need anything. I'm happy to help. And while that may be genuine, it's not enough. Just offering to help. Many people are not going to ask. We need to go a step further and think about what those people may need. It may be grocery deliveries. It may be helping with a tech issue, a computer issue. It may mean just visiting and holding their hand for a brief time, or having a Zoom meeting with them if they cannot see you physically, or a phone call. These are beautiful gifts. And they don't cost money. They just cost time. And they just require love. And so I'm going to end with something I'm very grateful for, something I wasn't expecting, and that is making the top 70 food podcasts you need to be listening to in 2024. Making the list of 70 best food podcasts. I found out that this podcast, It's All About Food, is ranked number 14 on feedspot.com on their list of 70 best food podcasts. We're not talking about vegan food podcasts. We're not talking about vegan podcasts. We're talking about food podcasts. I am blown away. I never started this podcast as a way to win awards or be recognized for the work. I did it because I was on a mission to contribute to helping educate people about the power of a plant-based diet, the power of a vegan lifestyle, talking about the cruelty and exploitation that goes on in the world and what we can do as individuals every day to minimize that, and what we can do to build momentum to encourage other people to do the same. I don't need a prize. I don't need a reward, but it does provide motivation and inspiration. This is lonely work, and it's just nice to be acknowledged from time to time. I am grateful for that. And I want to leverage this somehow. I want to grow this community. I want to build this community. I want to expand the reach of this podcast. And one way you might consider helping to support this is by making a tax-deductible donation to Responsible Eating and Living, our nonprofit that produces the It's All About Food podcast. I rarely ask for financial support. It's the end of the year when a lot of organizations reach out for donations. But I know there's so much more that we can do. There's so much more that we can do to expand the reach of the podcast, to build on the power of the podcast, to improve what we present and how we present it. And that requires support. So while you're listening, thank you. I really appreciate it. While you're thinking about some of the things I've been talking about in this last hour, maybe you agree with some of the things I brought up. Maybe you want to embellish them some, and maybe you didn't like some of the things I had to say. Of course, I want to hear from you. And you can always send an email at info@realmeals.org. If you have some ideas, things you want me to talk about on the program, please let me know. And while I hope and encourage that you get out there and meet people face to face and create live community community with the people in your neighborhood, with the people around you, so we can improve our culture and grow our community where we can all work together with like-minded ideas and share the ideas we have that we may not agree on in a loving, non-judgmental way. There are also podcasts that help build community, and it's an amazing tool where we can reach out all over the world and share our ideas, and people can tune in when it's convenient for them at any time they want, because there really is no time. We can all choose in the moment what we want to take in. Thanks for sharing this time with me, wherever you are, whenever it is. I am Caryn Hartglass, the host of It's All About Food, broadcasting on the Progressive Radio Network since 2009. Thank you for joining me. Shout out to Progressive Radio Network for being there and broadcasting this program. I wish you a very productive, lovely day and a very delicious week. Bye-bye.